All right, so we want to stay here at home. We want to go over to Monroe, where there's some controversy happening in Monroe because Monroe faces major election changes under state legislation, House Bill 3. So city officials, residents have expressed outrage over this legislation that could fundamentally alter local elections for a while. So again, Miles Harris he's been covering the story. He spoke with a city council person along with community leaders regarding this piece of legislation. Again, that is House Bill 3. We want to play you their full interviews. Let's take a listen in.
Okay, we're talking about House Bill 3, and if this House Bill 3 continues to go through, what does this mean for the city of Monroe?
It's tragic for the city of Monroe. First of all, it will put an untold expense. We have $75,000 already budgeted for this year's election. If this is pushed through and we end up having to have a primary, that's at least another $75,000. Should there be a tie in the primary, that's another one. Not only that, it tampered on people's freedom and the right to vote. It's an attempt to control the vote and to suppress the vote. It was a cowardly act, and it came as a complete surprise to us. Had the Board of Election not let us know, we would have been in limbo the whole time. We are shocked and appalled at it because there's a lack of transparency. It's going to erode trust. It took the whole city by surprise. And I will say the city is up in arms because at the very least we could have a referendum to allow people to decide. As elected officials, we take an oath to serve, not serve ourselves. So, it makes you think differently about people and what their character will allow them to do. But I urge everyone to continue emailing, texting, calling. And on Tuesday, there will be a rally in Raleigh at the legislature, giving people the opportunity to go and to express their feelings about it. Hopefully many people will go, and those that can't, to still use the other avenues to reach our district, our senator, and our representative. I will say that two of them do nothing of it as well, Senator Coffin and Representative Brody.
And you kind of talked about that, though, too, about the transparency part. Kind of break down, though, too, how that process on why there wasn't that much transparency or how that even happened.
Well, I can only surmise. We have an election where we have a Republican candidate, and I plan to be a mayoral candidate as well. And it's opposition. And evidently it's a threat. So to control it, they use underhanded methods.
So I know you mentioned a couple things from the voting aspect to the finances aspect of this, though, too. I mean, what can the people in Monroe really do? I mean, I know you mentioned that rally last week.
Okay, they can voice their concern. If they have any contact at all with the state legislator, whether it be from our district or not, they end up getting a vote as well. But let it out how you feel. Let it out that we were tampered with, treated unfairly. Let it out that we want a voice. This is supposed to be a democracy. And the only way that can be is people have the opportunity to choose how they vote.
And that's crazy because when I looked at it, though, too, I mean, this process as far as voting for you guys hasn't changed in decades.
No, in 65 years. That's how long. And it works well for people because people have opportunity without you having to declare your party. Nobody is ashamed of whatever party they choose to be in. But in the municipal government, problems are people problems, quality of life issues. And we don't have problems that germane to Republicans, germane to Democrat, Independent. These are issues, and we want to be served as one unified group. That's what we have here in Monroe, and that's what's in danger of being stopped.
You live in Monroe?
I do. Yeah, I've been a resident of Monroe since 2012 and been in Union County since 1978.
Talk to me about your thoughts about this House Bill 3.
You know, I'm definitely against Monroe being added to it. Ultimately, we don't know yet if it's a good thing or not, but the way it was added to the bill without any input from city council, city staff, the citizens, anything like that, I think it was just kind of done improperly.
Yeah. Do you feel as though like the process and the way to do that kind of questions whether or not the priority in getting people in the city of Monroe to get out there and vote, their voices are kind of taken away in that?
I agree. I think the fact that we have this process that the citizens didn't have any input in is kind of a slap in the face. You know, we believe that the citizens should have input in everything we do, and I believe in local government has the right to regulate themselves, and when we have someone from the state basically regulating our way of life and government without any input at all is just not a good thing.
As a community member, have you tried to talk to the higher ups that have, whether it's city officials, as far as kind of getting answers into how this process has gone to this point, and how's that reaction been?
Yeah, we really haven't had a whole lot of information back, and I know the state level, they haven't been really communicating with city council, and we haven't heard a whole lot from our mayor either as far as how this whole process started. So I know it's kind of a big mystery right now, and we're trying to get Monroe pulled off that House Bill 3, get it back to the citizens of Monroe and city council and city staff and the board of elections. Let us try and figure out exactly how this will go and give us a couple years to do it instead of basically canceling our elections and forcing something on us.
My last question for you though too is, if this thing does go through, what is your biggest fear with this?
I think you know, we're pretty resilient here in Monroe, and we'll get through it. Partisan elections, you know, it's nothing new to other parts of the country. We would be the only one in the Union County to have it. So who knows how it will play out? You know, it may actually be a benefit long term to the unaffiliated. I'm an unaffiliated candidate, and unaffiliated is the largest voting bloc in Monroe and soon to be in Union County. So based on the partisan elections, there may be some things that will actually help that group.
Yeah, but the information with this is probably the biggest thing, right? Trying to find.
It is. Trying to sort the whole thing out last minute. You know, basically the city manager had no idea what was happening until the Board of Elections called him up, said, how are the citizens going to pay this $80,000 this fall? And that was it.
That's crazy though to think about, right?
It is, to where someone from the city of Monroe went to Raleigh and said, this is what we want, when we had zero discussion.
So Jen, talk to me as a community member here. What's your really concern or fear is with this House Bill 3 for you guys?
So first of all, the sneakiness of House Bill 3. I will say that no one knew about it until a week and a day actually. 4:30, the council, the city manager, everyone here found out about it after it had been presented to in committees. So the big issue is, why did they add Monroe last minute? Who encouraged Monroe to be added last minute? So we are in a really big fight here in Monroe for the mayor race and the council seats. And a particular member of that community goes to Raleigh every other week and is very popular with the Republican Party right now. They interact, they have meetings together. And so in my personal opinion, just Jen Sanders, my personal opinion, is that Robert Burns had something to do with this bill. And everything comes out in the wash. So we will find out if he did or did not. And so for me, it's about the sneakiness and the lack of community input. The community does not want this. What this does is it makes what should be a council that represents every person in the county or in the city, it's supposed to be to represent them. But if you make it a partisan, like they did with the school board, then it becomes less about the people and more about your political ambitions.
As a voter standpoint, how does this change you guys?
Well, as a voter, I mean, it disenfranchises a lot of voters. The one that actually benefits the most is the unaffiliated voters, which we have more unaffiliated voters in Monroe than we do Democrat or Republican. So it's actually really good for them, because what this is going to do is it's going to educate the average voter. A lot of people don't think that municipals are important. They don't understand the power that municipals have. So when we say that you vote local, whatever happens locally goes state and federally. So, you know, when we try to tell people that you should know the candidate, you should get to know who they are. And yes, a lot of people vote down ballot, so depending on what letters behind it, R or D. but unaffiliated voters get to pull whichever ballot they choose. So for them, it's actually really great. That's why we have such a large unaffiliated pool in North Carolina, because they have power in their voice. Now, for what this does for the average voter who's not engaged is they won't know that there's a primary. They won't know that there's a potential of a runoff of a primary. It already is a struggle to get people to come out and vote for municipals. But now that there is some light on this particular board and this particular city council, more people are engaged than ever. And I think, my personal opinion is, I think that the mayor was a little bit worried, because I don't think that he'll have the votes to win again. So,
as far as what you guys are planning to do moving forward, I mean, how do you guys plan to either stop, halt, get people aware of this bill, and what's the next step for you guys too?
So we are doing a train ride up to Raleigh next week. So far we have about 50 people that have signed up to go. We're going to go up to Raleigh and go talk to the representatives, Todd Johnson in particular, because we have questions for Todd Johnson. We want to know why he decided to put an amendment or present an amendment at 4 o'clock yesterday, last minute, after the city council said that they did not even want the bill. A vote of 6-1, by the way. They voted 6-1 not to have the Monroe added to HB1. So we're going to ask Todd Johnson, why did he feel it was important to add an amendment to push our elections back a year? What does that, and who does that benefit? It doesn't benefit the voters of Monroe. It only really benefits the mayor of Monroe, because now he doesn't have to run for another year. And Mayor Robert Burns has big ambitions for the state of North Carolina, and he plans on going higher up into the state, if not federally. So for me, this benefits him to push it back a year, but it disenfranchises 21,000 voters in Monroe.
I was gonna say, I feel like that's, in your opinion, that probably is taking away votes, or the idea for votes for some people.
Absolutely.
I mean, for people though, right? So.
Absolutely. You have a constitutional right to vote. That is your God. That's what the Constitution has given us, the ability to voice your opinion in elections. And now you're telling 21,000 people that their voice doesn't count, that their vote doesn't matter. That's not only disingenuous, but it's also it's fraud. It doesn't. No one asked for this, so why is it all of a sudden being added? That's the question that we need to start asking.
All right, so that's some strong reaction about House Bill 3 in Monroe. Essentially, what it would do, it would change fundamentally the elections there in a town like Monroe. You can read more on that story on our website, WCNC.com. Also, download our news app. All right, we'll switch gears. Let's go to